This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have the tickets in your wallet first before you drive 2 hours to the big game. Seriously, you had one job. Now the closest you'll get to the 50-yard line is parking lot D. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Fall is here, and if you want to sleep in the coziest bed imaginable, you have to start with Boll & Branch's best-selling 100% organic cotton sheets. You'll spend every night wrapped in buttery, breathable softness and feel your sheets get even softer with every wash. Discover the difference with Boll & Branch's 30-night guarantee. Plus, for a limited time, get 20% off and free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com with code SPAN. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
What up, y'all? It's Joe Budden, here to talk about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money while watching football. Season-long fantasy can take so much time, but on Prize Picks, I can pick a new lineup every day. The app is really simple to use. To create a lineup, pick more or less on at least 2 players. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my lineups hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match players from different sports. Combine your favorite players from football to basketball to hockey to WNBA. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy app with injury insurance. If your player goes down in the first half, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss.
Right now, Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Just download the Prize Picks daily fantasy app and use code GOAL. That's code GOAL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network. You can follow us on our YouTube channel as well, at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined occasionally by my football gurus, Paul and Ian. Let's get to it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rams Up Podcast Network. I'm Ian. This is Paul here. Mr. Bob and Weave. October is showtime. I know with this game going on currently. And here we are getting together for a post-game reaction of, just another disappointing loss from the Rams. And God, it sucks. Because you look at, I'll call myself out. I predicted them to lose. I went in just trying to be objective. We had talked last, right, Paul? I mean, I did. And, when they give you hope and you see things like, man, are they going to make the comeback? Of course I'm rooting for it. But at the end of the day, they screwed up way too much to win this game. And it's disappointing, Paul. What are your initial thoughts off the bat?
I mean, it followed the pattern that we talked about. I mean, everything was fairly consistent. If you go back to the same keys that we had set for the prior game, we said, come out of the gate quickly.
Yeah.
They didn't do that.
No.
Get Iron Kyren 25 touches. They did not do that.
Yeah.
They got away from the run game once again.
Yep.
Don't know why. The run game was churning out yards. Then down the stretch, it's an incredible graphic. The number of minutes they have spent playing from behind is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And and only 2 first half touchdowns in 4 games. It's just
it's bad, dude. I mean, look, we talked about it on our roundtable this past week. This game was going to be tough, just even outside of the numbers. It was going to be a heavy Packer fan base. Obviously, Stafford had to use some silent count. We saw had to have some really loud audibles and cadences to cut through the Packers crowd noise there. So, they're fighting that. And then on top of it, I mean, Mark, thanks for joining in at this moment, man. But Coach McVay, dude, when we get down by 10 or more points, I mean, it's the McVay special I joke about. And I tell you guys and I tell friends and whatever things that I tweet or post on Twitter. The McVay special is you get down early or you get down by 10 and then it's just, all right, run game's over. Let's throw it to get back in the game. And a lot of coaches fall into that, but it was the same thing again. I mean, Kyron fumbled, and then that was pretty much it for the run game for the majority of that second half. Didn't it feel that way, gentlemen? Shoot.
Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was probably as excited as the next Ram fan when I saw Blake Corum out there. I said, now they're going to really churn out some major yardage. By my count, they were averaging 4.8 yards a carry,
Yeah.
right? So why would you go away from that? It's simple math. Why would you go away from that? So, once again, too many peaks and valleys. It's really hard for the Rams to put together 15 minutes of consistent quality football. So, and if you look at once again, the quarter by quarter breakdown, right? A goose egg in the first quarter, come to life in the second quarter, close out the quarter in such a terrible manner, getting
Uh,
called for that too many men penalty. I mean, it just can't happen. And then you give the momentum back to the opposing team. And if you think about it, it's just way too many explosives that are given up based on mental errors. That heave down the field that they were able to complete early on, followed by that penalty, which then led to a field goal. So if you think about it, that's 10 points. That's deciding the game there.
yeah.
Rams 2 turnovers once again. They have to really get back to playing like clean quarters, clean games. I mean, they're making it too easy for their opponents. I mean, I give them credit. Once again, they battled within one score. It shows that they're not that far off the mark, but there's no cohesiveness to the various phases, special teams, offense, and defense. It's almost like there's like 3 different games going on at the same time,
Yeah.
and there's complete lack of complementary football cost them today.
Yeah, it feels that way. What about you, Mark? What are your thoughts initially on this?
Well, as you guys know, I have to come clean here. Life got in the way of my viewing pleasure today, and I was following the second half on my phone. I saw the Rams have to get the pick six. I followed most of the game on my phone, actually. Had some stuff I had to attend to, and it kind of follows what you said, Paul. It's just there's no how do you put it? It's like they need to learn how to win, number one, right? They have good players. They play very well for spurts. They have a couple of things go against them and they just can't recover. Then they have a shot. Once again, they had a shot at the end, right? Couldn't get it done. And, maybe it's just a matter, hey, if Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua played in this game, a different result maybe, but the Packers were banged up too. I don't know. It's just, there's just something missing from this team right now. I'm not sure I can put my finger on it, but definitely disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, look, gentlemen, everyone out there, Rams Nation, I'm tired of that being the excuse. Oh, no Puka, no Cub, no 2 linemen, no Higbee, no John Johnson, no whatever. Who cares? You got to be able to figure it out and coordinate game plans that are cohesive and make sense for the guys you have out there. We say it all the time. Coach McVay is playing his offense like Kupp and the linemen and Nacua are all out there. That can't be the case. The 49ers formula when we won that game was how it's going to have to be to win games until those guys come back. Run the ball, play action, do tight ends, multiple formations, keep the defense guessing. It wasn't like that. And is it a shock we've lost this game and lost the previous game when we got away from it? Not a shock at all. So disappointing.
Yeah.
And it's just the same old stuff. Again, I'm going to show this face again. I mean, Coach McVay, you're a smart guy. I mean, you got to figure it out, man.
Did you hear I think Tony Romo even mentioned it early in the game. It's really frustrating. The Rams at times are the better team. You watch the game, you get the feel like, hey, they should be winning this game. And that's what happened with the Bears. And that's kind of what happened in this one from what I could see. Again, I have to go back and watch a lot of it. But yeah. Did you guys talk yet about the fourth and when they passed on the field goal early in the game? You talk about that yet?
No, we haven't yet. No. And go ahead, Paul. Share your thoughts on that, dude.
So, I mean, part of me, I knew that they were going to be aggressive early on, right? I think I had said that at the last roundtable. Listen, if you're going to go for it on fourth down, go for it on fourth down. It's not an issue. But I think that first red zone scenario just really highlights once again, if they had run the ball 4 times, it's in. I don't know what more Iron Kyren has to do to show them that in the red zone he's gonna punch it in. He scored in 8 straight games. He's about to eclipse Eric Dickerson in rushing touchdowns, right? For the
Yeah.
first, what is it? For the first 20 games of the career. So I mean, I don't know what more he has to do to really become the red zone weapon um, that he needs to be. So they are placing themselves in the, first of all, you don't have your go-to receivers in the red zone, right? We know that. So the teams are doing a really nice job of taking Demarcus Robinson away in the red zone. So you're really putting yourself behind the eight ball, and we saw it today, right? How many times are they trying to get the ball to Parkinson? The timing is just there. Parkinson's not used to being the guy. We saw that today, right? And I said it last week for a reason, because you see the patterns developing. Parkinson couldn't break a tackle at 255 pounds. He's
I
getting
know.
tackled by a D-back in the middle of the field, forcing a 3rd and 1. You see him in the red zone. He's calling for a flag. You're 255. Play through it. They grab you. You got to
I
play
agree.
through it. You got to
Yeah.
play through. You're not going to get the flag. So there are a lot of things there. And just sort of moving forward, they're probably going to play a lot of 12 next time we see them, because you know what? Jay Witt got hurt. They said he left the stadium today in a sling, so they're going to be down another receiver. But
God.
there were definitely some positives today, no question about it. I mean, the pass rush was solid again. They still refuse to tackle. I don't understand what it is. Case in point, in the end zone,
God.
By he I don't even know what that is. He forearm shiver Jordan Love.
God.
Thankfully, he did that because Jordan Love threw that pick six, but he didn't even tackle him. He didn't try to tackle him, so it was just really puzzling.
Yeah.
But there was a pass rush was great there. We got the running game going. Blake the Great got into the game, so now the two-headed monster hopefully will surface. So those are some really good positives. The O line was solid again. There were some pass protection breakdowns once again, which when they blitz, the opposing team sends blitzers. Somehow it confuses everybody, but I mean the Rams were right there. They were right there again, but and I said it in the last roundtable, that 3 stand-up linebacker setup, they showed it today. It worked. It led to a huge turnover. They got a lot of pressure, but then in the second half went away from it. I don't get it.
I
So
know. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. I mean, speaking of the defense, this might as well just jump into that subject and entirely, right? Talk a lot of offense and McVay's issues.
yeah,
Defensively, I mean, we got to start probably here to have a deeper dive. I mean, Trey White, he's a healthy scratch, man. Dude got benched. That's the what's the word I want to say? The public friendly way of saying, yeah, we benched the dude. Coach's decision, right? From our friend here, Cameron De Silva of Rams Wire. So a lot of people were calling for him to be benched for weeks now, and obviously the coaches felt like that was the case. Darius Williams coming back. He had some nice plays today. Thankfully, he's back. Akello got a lot of snaps on the outside, and I assume they'll probably be the full-time guys going forward. And, hey, people out there who were saying bench Trey White after game 1, you got what you wanted, right? And it's unfortunate for him, man. We paid a lot of good money. I'm not saying we paid him Jalen Ramsey, top 5 corner in the league money, but we paid him good starter money to be a difference maker, and it's just been an absolute disaster. It's just sucks that's the case. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
and
he's done as a Ram, it feels like. Hey.
yeah, when you consider that Josh Wallace was out there, they could have had Trey White active and contributing, but they chose to go with Josh Wallace and Jalen McCullough, obviously.
Fall is here, and if you want to sleep in the coziest bed imaginable, you have to start with Boll & Branch's best-selling 100% organic cotton sheets. You'll spend every night wrapped in buttery, breathable softness and feel your sheets get even softer with every wash. Discover the difference with Boll & Branch's 30-night guarantee. Plus, for a limited time, get 20% off and free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com with code SPAN. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Yeah, he's done. I mean, what are your
And
thoughts?
they really need his leadership and his physicality out there. So it's going to be interesting how this scenario plays out with T. White.
Yeah.
So he also has not played in a while because of the injury. So
Yeah.
part of the process could be you have the bye week, so now really it's 2 weeks physically for him where he's away from the wear and tear. So I think he's going to make the Ram defense better if they can figure out like what is going on. And I don't want to like sort of minimize because he has struggled, but the defensively as a whole they have really struggled. I mean Romo said about 6 times today their tackling is atrocious. Their force players are not forcing the football. The spill players are not spilling. So they can't hold the edge. It is really the defensive side of the ball is an absolute complete mess. What was really positive on that last stand, which was a real positive, was that Kobe Turner rallying the troops. Right, you saw that he was like shouting out, "One more! We need one more stop here." So I think that was really important. I think that was significant to see. I did like the fact that they were blitzing Curl more. Curl is a very good blitzer. And I think that's something they need to do more. Q37 played safety today, which is really interesting. They felt that would help the communication in the secondary, so that's why they moved him back to safety. So um, hopeful for more impact plays. I think if they do leave him back there, the idea is obviously he can quarterback the secondary and hopefully generate some more big plays. One thing that I will say that it has to be stated there are two players in particular who their lack of effort today was just absolutely glaring. So the first is Tutu Atwell. Tutu Atwell, I mean, people are, if you look at his numbers, so like today, once again, the number of Ram receivers that are averaging under 9 yards a catch, I mean, that's really telling. That's really telling that they're catching the ball. The numbers may look great, but these are not explosive plays. These are not impact plays. And on one play when the interception was thrown, he didn't even chase the defender to try to tackle him. It was Davis Allen that chased him and tackled him. So I think that's one. He runs routes in a very sort of lackadaisical fashion, and that sweep for the two when they were going for the 2-point conversion, it was like the Tavon Austin special, which was a beeline for the sideline. So, I mean, you just saw that, and that type of effort is going to get you beat every time. Xavier Smith only caught one ball today, but when he caught it, he put his head down and he drove forward for 3 yards after the catch. The same type of effort you see from B. Witt. So, I mean, these are the type of things that are going to get you beat. And I said it about Parkinson and showed up today. In crucial situations, he is not naturally physical. Can he be naturally physical? Probably, but for whatever reason, probably because he was not a number one tight end in terms of the pass catching part of it, he's not used to it and he's still developing. But it was exposed today. They went his way 5 or 6 times, and he's just running through these routes like, it's like somebody has to remind him, like, dude, do you realize you're like 6'6"? You're like 250? What are you kidding? And being tackled in the open field once again by a defensive back who's given up something like 40, 50 pounds. I mean, it's unacceptable. It can't continue. It's really hurting the Rams offense. And now being down at Whittington, I don't even know. It's going to be Demarcus Robinson, X-Men, and, they're going to have to play a lot of two tight end. So hopefully Davis Allen, with the extra week when he comes back, he'll be up to the challenge. Hunter Long played a solid game today. if there was somebody who really played a solid game today, it was Hunter Long. He played a really solid game. I think I have him down for 2 catches, blocked well, hustled. But I mean, there's too many guys out there that are just like they're not giving that max effort, and they can't be on the field. You have to find a way. You got to send a message to this team because that's what's gonna spread. It's gonna spread like wildfire.
Yeah, I mean the Colby Parkinson. I mean, we'll talk about it another time about all the free agent acquisitions, the coaching hires, the draft picks from this last year. We'll have a time and place to go through each of those. But Trey White, giant F for failure. How that's worked out. Colby, I'll give it a C because there's been some good moments, but it hasn't been what we've expected. And obviously Blake Corum finally getting plays. I'll give that a C minus maybe, but. Yeah, it's just rough. Mark, what are your what was something you saw that was so negative? It was like, holy crap. Like,
Well, yeah, I guess you could call it a negative, and maybe it's a way of looking at this game in a hopeful way. We gave away 4 points. We passed on the field goal. We missed an extra point, and you put those 4 points on the board. And I know there's a butterfly effect. Maybe the game plays out differently, but if those 4 points are on the board, that last drive might have had a different vibe to it. So we were there, turned the ball over twice, and didn't play our best game in a lot of respects. And the game was there for the taking. Just, passed on 4 points, 4 points we should have had, and then couldn't get it done in the end. I will say another thing on the positive, if you had told me we were going to hold to Josh Jacobs to under 4 yards per carry, I thought we'd probably have a good shot at winning this game. So I haven't seen a lot of the game, guilty as charged, but stats wise, not a bad day in run defense statistically.
yeah. My
compared to previous games, anyways.
No, of course, yeah. There's been some bad stinkers on defense. I guess my negative would be, I mean, our Big Vay's obviously at the top of my list most days out of the week with his play calling and choices of schematics. But I mean, guys, we need new inside linebackers. Enough's enough. We did the experiment. That Ernest Jones trade deserves another fat F for how that's backfired on us significantly. And were there some decent moments from Roseboom and Reader? Sure. But at the end of the day, it's just not starting level play consistently. It's just not. I mean, there was so many times today they're getting blown off by linemen, just missing open field tackles. It's an issue. It's a big issue. And I guess a positive is, well, I guess, young McCullough had a really good play. So, I mean, the young guys are getting reps and maybe they do improve as the season goes on and we'll see. So shout out to him. This picture is cool. And that was a crazy play, by the way. And I was afraid Byron Young was too nice with him when he shoulder popped him. I was like, I can't believe you didn't bury him. But I get it. Defenders are nervous about getting a flag on the quarterback, which Matthew Stafford never gets, by the way. Just want to share that out there. So I get why Byron probably let off a little much, but he did it too much. But luckily, 39 was there to snag that. So that was my one positive. That was fun to see that. But a lot of negative. And when you lose, I mean, guys, again, worst start in the McVay era, 1-4. I mean, things are just going terribly, terribly bad. Injuries aside, I don't want to hear that excuse from everyone out there. It is a factor, but you got to figure it out. Figure out ways to win ball games that at least stay at 500, right? Golly. But outside of that, though, gentlemen, speaking of that 1-4 start, people are like, well, playoffs are done. And then the likelihood of them being done is high. Let's just be real about it. This team is playing just really incoherent football. There's been some teams that have made it. 14 teams have made the playoffs after starting a season 1-4. None of them reached the Super Bowl. I mean, duh, right? Got 1970 Bengals, 75 Colts, 76 Steelers since the merger. But the more recent history, you got the 2015 Texans, the 2015 Chiefs, the 2016 Dolphins, and the 2018 Colts. So it hasn't been like, oh, this happened in 1994. That was the last time. There is some teams that have pulled it off. But again, they got to start finding ways to play better, have better game plans, have better schematics, and at least set up these backup players that are playing with a better chance of playing well and succeeding. But to everyone's fears of the season being toast, it ain't toast yet based on this little list, but they got to start winning games soon because the schedule ain't getting any easier, everybody.
Yeah, well,
oh, baby.
and to back you up on that, if you look at the NFC West standings, it's still winnable. It's actually still winnable.
Insane,
It
dude.
played out perfect today had the Rams won, obviously. 49ers and Cardinals both 2-3. The Rams trailing the Seahawks by 2 games, and they have 2 games with Seattle, and this team could sweep Seattle. Got to play better, obviously, but it's not out of the question. They probably have to sweep the NFC West moving forward, win their remaining game with the Cardinals, beat the 49ers again, and beat the Seahawks twice, more or less. There's some other winnable games on the schedule, but
the season's been really wild. I mean, Vikings are just beating the hell out of teams, and obviously they had a close one in London today in the morning. But, Niners, Cardinals, Seahawks had a weird loss against the Giants. I mean, things are still there, and it's like, come on, coaching staff. Let's set these guys up for better success, and it's there. We see glimpses of it, but it hasn't been there for 4 quarters of football, and here we are, 1-4. So, gentlemen, any last thoughts before we get out of here? And, I guess treat it like the players, right? You 24 hours and then you move on. I guess we have to do that as a fan base too, or it'll drive us mad.
What do you got, Paul?
I mean, definitely the pieces are there, the elements are there. I think the realization has to be, you have staff there, but you have to put the ball in the hands of your best players. So once again, today, the ball wound up being in the hands of Tutu and Parkinson, right? Combined for 13 catches, and didn't even break 9 yards a catch. Versus putting the ball in the hands of Kyron Williams, right, and allowing your best back to carry the load. I mean, I'm not sure what they're afraid of, what they think is going to happen. He's asking for the ball, and when he gets it, he's going to work. So that's one element of it. The 3 outside linebacker today looked great. I think that it jump starts the defense. It got everybody excited. They almost fall into sort of like this. I don't know what it is. It's like almost like a malaise on defense, right? They get into, and that's why I have an inkling that there's some type of whatever it is, like some type of read and react type of philosophy that has been imposed this year, which is just, I think, is just throwing everybody off because some of the players that played well last year look completely lost this year, right? So, if it was just 1 or 2 players, it's one thing. Kobe Turner had 2 sacks today, so it's good to see him. The leadership today was phenomenal. He's playing the run very, very strong inside because he has to, because nobody else is. Fist factor, he showed his speed, and he chased down a couple of plays, which really highlights what we've been saying. The defense is really not geared to highlighting the player's strengths. This is a guy, like, yes, we know he can bull rush, but on every play, these are the type of players, he and the conductor, you gotta let him get after it and get upfield. There's certain elements of this defense which are just, I mean, they're not NFL caliber, the way they are putting the players in certain positions, and we see that today. And that's why I think the secondary is really struggling. They're really not playing to the players' strengths. So, we'll see how it goes. But, Kobe Turner was a real highlight today. Evans dropped another one within the 10. There you go, special teams. We didn't get a chance to see much with Kid Cardi redeem himself with that missed extra point. But, moving out of the bye, they'll be a little bit healthier. Hopefully, Jay Witt's not hurt too bad. But I think also this is what happens when your best players are hurt and everybody seems to be waiting for them to come back, right? So it becomes that sort of mentality, okay, we'll be okay when they get back. But when they get back, they got to get back into like sort of playing shape and getting that that execution, that element of perfect execution, which is going to take time. So if the Rams are, the players are banking on that, that's going to be another two game lull, which they can't afford to go into. So, I think what's going to happen is I think there's going to be a big shakeup. I think coming out of the bye, I think there's going to be a big shakeup. I think there's going to be some players that are going to be released or moved. I think there might, something's going to definitely have to happen. And I think the Rams are going to be active at the trade deadline because they need to acquire something to really jumpstart this team, and particularly on defense.
Yeah, Mark, what are your final thoughts on this crappy
Well,
loss?
you know me, I'm the eternal optimist, and as disappointed as I am, especially, just thinking back a few weeks ago, how optimistic we were about this season. And I think that optimism was justified based on our offensive line, our skill position guys, and the additions on defense, the young guys. But it just hasn't come together, especially on defense. And I just feel like I don't think the season's over. When you look at the standings, the Rams are basically 2 games out of a wild card spot. The problem is there's a bunch of teams above them, and several of them have beaten the Rams. Right now, if the Vikings I'm going to go negative here for a second. If the Vikings win the NFC North, wild card contenders include the Packers, Lions, and Bears, who have all beaten the Rams. So that's not good. But can the Rams win the NFC West? That may be the path. And hey, let's root for something. Let's get behind this team as best we can. My special assistant texted me a picture of Travis Hunter. It's draft season for him. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen enough of that though. All this tank for whoever. Every time seasons start bad, tank for Caleb. Now it's tank for Travis. And
yeah, I think he's just saying that it's like maybe we just start doing our mock drafts again. And I'm not ready to go there yet. I'm ready to let's go get on a little winning streak. Let's beat our NFC West opponents and compete for the NFC West championship. That may be the path. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
And Ram Nation, we have to pull for regression to the mean. Right, so hopefully it works both ways, right? Everybody else comes back to earth, and we start to play up to the potential of a roster.
Yeah, you look at the wild card standings, which I just looked at. The bottom 4, I just turned it off, are the I think it's the Giants, 49ers, Rams, and Panthers. So the 49ers are right there with us, just above us, 1 game ahead of us, and we've beaten them once. Hey, we can dream.
We can dream, but we have to live in reality at this moment, and we aren't playing good football. And it's up to the coaching staff to figure it the freak out and get it together, set the players up for success. And that's my final thoughts on that, everybody. So thanks for tuning in. If you're listening in on the podcast, I appreciate that. We appreciate that. If you're watching on YouTube, we also very much appreciate that. So like, subscribe, share with your buds. Comment. Let us know your thoughts. How do you feel about the Rams going into the bye with only 1 win? I ain't feeling good. We ain't feeling good. So let us know your thoughts below, please. And I'm Ian. That's Mark. That's Paul. This is the Rams Up post-game reaction. Rams versus Packers week 5. And we hope to see you next time with a more positive outlook on this team and we start winning ball games. Peace out, my friends.
Well said. Well said. Have a good night, you guys.
Have the courage to make change, babe.
Gosh, we need it. Peace.
That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.